how's it going, everyone? Welcome to another Mic Drop Mentorship. My name is Casey Coleman. I'm a doctor of physical therapy and also one of the co-founders of Pre-PT Grind, where we help you get into PT school without wasting time or money. That's what we do. We help you get into physical therapy school without wasting time or money. So that's what we're going to do here. That's some of the things we talk about on Mic Drop Mentorships. Whoops, and I am back. What's going on, Shanahan? So that's what we do here. And on this one, I want to talk about preparation. But before I do that, I hope you guys are having a soon-to-be great new year or almost happy new year. For me, 2018 has been pretty good to me. I can't complain. Pre-PT Grind has had amazing growth. I finished PT school. I passed my NPTE, which is the National Physical Therapy Board exam. I landed my first job, and now I'm working as a doctor of physical therapy in an outpatient setting in Chicago, Illinois. So I cannot complain. 2018 has been very, very good to me, and I hope it was for you as well for this past year. But this topic is so fitting because 2018 wasn't just good for me because on January 31st, I said, 2018, December 31st, 2017, I just said, 2018 is going to be great for me. That's why it's great. It was great because I spent the last 3 years in physical therapy school preparing for 2018 to be great. And that's what I want you guys to think about with this topic, because so many times we underestimate how prepared we need to be for what we're trying to do. We underestimate how much work it's going to take, how much time, how much effort, how many, tears, how much sweat, how much blood it's going to take to really get where we want to be. We think it's going to be so easy, and we underestimate how much preparation we need in order to make our dreams come true or to make what we want to be successful. So this quote that I heard, I don't know when I heard it, maybe a couple months ago, but it's from Abraham Lincoln, and he says, if I had 6 hours to chop down a tree, I would spend 4 to 5 hours sharpening the axe. If I had 6 hours to chop down a tree, I would spend 4 or 5 hours sharpening the axe. Meaning, I would spend those 4 to 5 hours preparing to chop down the tree instead of just whacking away for 6 hours with a dull axe. And that's what I need you guys to do. If you're preparing for an interview, preparing for a campus visit, the GRE, your next test, whatever it is, I need you guys to prepare like no other. Hey, what's going on, Anthony? Yeah, great quote. Abraham Lincoln. Look it up. It's all over the internet. But I need you guys preparing just like that. I don't need you guys going into the GRE time after time, again, just trying to chop at that GRE, trying to knock it down with a dull axe, with limited understanding, with not enough preparation. I don't want you guys applying to PT school with a dull axe, just chopping away at it without mentorship, without asking us for help, without doing your research, without preparing properly. I need you guys sharpening that axe for 4 to 5 hours out of your 6 hours, whatever your time frame is. So once you go into that interview, that next test, it takes you 1-2 swings and that tree is down. I need you guys sharpening that axe now. If you're applying next cycle, if you have an interview coming up, if you have a campus visit coming up in a few months, I don't need you waiting until a couple days before. I don't need you waiting until a few hours before. I need you starting 6 weeks, 3 months, 4 months in advance, sharpening your axe. So by the time you get to where you're going, it is a piece of cake. I've said this before, but when I got my interview for PT school, one of my interviews for PT school, I was more excited for that than I was when I got the call that I was accepted. I was more excited that I got an interview because I knew I've been sharpening my axe for so long, and I would continue to do that up until interview day, that by the time interview day came, it was done. There was no way they were going to tell me no. There was no way they were going to tell me no, and they didn't. Like 2 weeks later, they called me up and said I was accepted. And of course I was excited, but at the same time, I was like, well, I expected this. Yes, I am excited. Yes, I am grateful. Yes, I am honored that you called me and accepted me. And I was still jumping around, don't get me wrong. But at the same time, I was like, of course. Of course they accepted me. Of course I got this call. This is what should have been happening because I prepared properly. because I sharpened my axe for those 7 months. I sharpened my axe for those 6 weeks. I spent all that time I needed to get to this place. And the same thing in PT school, the same thing for my NPTE. I spent a whole year studying for my board exam because I had pre-PT grind and NGPT and this going on. I knew I would have to spend 10 to 12 months sharpening my axe for the board exam in order to pass with everything I was doing. Even with pre-PT grind, we have to sharpen our axe every day to get better and better to serve you guys better. So that's what you guys need to do. And you're going to continue. You're going to have to do this regardless. So you got to start now. You might as well start now. And this is especially for those who have an interview coming up or are applying this next cycle that's starting in, end of June or beginning of July. You have to start now because these 6 or 7 months, whatever it is, coming up to this next application cycle will be here before you know it. If you're like, it's winter break, I don't need to do this, I can take a few days off, do what you have to do, but get back on it because these are going to fly by. You have to have your observation hours in, your letters, your grades have to go up, you have to prepare for PTCAS, you have to prepare for the essay, you have to take the GRE and pass it with, a good enough score that you're confident, all within 6 to 7 months. All within 6 to 7 months, and you still probably have a job, you might have a family, you might have this and that. So you really have no time to waste. Your 6 to 7 months of preparing, or your 6 hours, if we're talking about this quote, of preparing is flying away like that. The clock is ticking. So remember that quote. Write it down, post-it note on your laptop, put it on your wall. If you have 6 hours to chop down a tree, you need to spend 4 or 5 hours sharpening your axe. If you have 6 hours to chop down a tree, you need to spend 4 to 5 hours sharpening that axe. So when you go and swing at that interview, when you go and swing at that application, it takes one time and the tree's down. It takes one time and the tree's down. We are about saving you time, money, effort, and a lot of that has to do with you and preparing the right way. We can't save you all that time and money if you're not putting in the work yourself to sharpen your axe and chop down that tree with one swing. So that's what I need you guys to do. As you go into 2019, you have to sharpen your axe if you want this to be the year to get into physical therapy school. If you want 2019 to be your year, you have to start. Well, you got to start yesterday, but the best next time to start is now. So that's pretty much it. 2018 wasn't just good for me because in 2017, the end of 2017, I said it was going to be good. 2018 was a great year for me because I spent the last 3 years in PT school sharpening my axe so that 2018 would be a great year for me. 2018 wasn't a great year for pre-PT grind because just at the end of the year we said, 2018 is going to be great. We spent 2017 and then the rest of 2018 sharpening that axe time after time again to make this year successful. And you have to do the same thing. So remember that. If you have 6 hours to chop down a tree, spend 4 to 5 hours sharpening the axe. So when you go for that interview, that GRE, that campus visit, that test, that application, it takes you one swing and it's done. So that's pretty much it. If you're new to us, thank you so much for joining this Facebook group, subscribing on YouTube, listening to the podcast, following us on Instagram. Tell your friends about us. Tell your family that we are here for all of you to make your dreams come true of getting into PT school as soon as possible. So thanks for listening. Tag your friends in this, and we will see you on the next Mic Drop Mentorship. Take care.